Our fight night, Afghanistan. Welcome to SLFC. Guys, we're very excited for another amazing fight. My name is Kabir Imani. I'm happy to commentate this fight with Coach Iraj. Coach Iraj, welcome.
Thank you very much. And we are looking at Wahidullah Ashori. He comes from Iran. This is an international fight. He is accompanied by his coach and manager, Mr. Irfan Ibrahimian. And Ashori, he comes from a wushu sanda background, and Iran is one of the top countries in wushu. Wushu is a type of basically kung fu, which is very similar to kickboxing, and they have a lot of takedowns. And also, Wahidullah Ashori, he's 2-0 currently during this fight, so he has 2 MMA fights as well.
That's awesome, and I'm excited to see how he's going to use Sanda. I know you educated me a little bit about it and how Iran is a top country in Sanda competition, so I'm excited to see how he's going to use that in this fight against a tough opponent.
The Sanda guys, they are very well known for their explosive strikes and takedowns.
That's awesome, and it looks like he looks like a body of Habib, man. I want to see how vicious he's going to be just based on the looks right now, but he looks like confident, ready to go in this cage right now.
Yes, he is. He is. He is in Afghanistan, and he is in for a fight. And he's going against the showman of Afghanistan, Wahidullah Najhand. And we are looking at Najhand making his entrance. I love this guy, man. I like his persona. I like his showmanship. And, his idol, actually, it's not very surprising. Conor McGregor is his idol, so he looks up to Conor McGregor and his showmanship.
That's amazing. You know, there's never a boring moment when Najhand is fighting or when he's on an interview. This guy knows how to put a show, how to make people laugh. So he's definitely a showman show. We're excited to see him perform here.
And that's something that you cannot teach. As a coach, you cannot teach a fighter to be a showman. That's something natural.
Absolutely. And, you know, when you're a showman, that means you have a lot of confidence in your abilities and what you can do inside that cage. So this guy, with his showmanship, knows how much he can do inside the cage and how much damage he can cause to his opponents.
In a sort of weird way, this fight, Najhand, he's not. He doesn't seem like that showman. He's very serious about this fight because I guess he knows that his opponent is a very good opponent that he's facing, and so he is making his prayer. And now we are going to go into the ring for the announcement. Fighter's introduction.
و حالا میرسیم بر مسابقه نیمه مرکزی لایو از تلویزیون اطلاع با قدرت اتک انرژی درینک مشت پر قدرت در نخست از کارنر سفید این مبارز با رکورد 2 برد 1 باخت در رشته MMA در قد 180 سانتی متر و در وزن 73 کیلوگرم با نمایندگی از اکادمی سلطانی از ولایت پنجشیر افغانستان واحدالله نژند و حریفش این مبارز با رکورد 2 برد و هیچ باخت در رشته MMA با قد 170 سانتی متر در وزن 73 کیلوگرم و نمایندگی از Persian Warriors از کشور ایران شهر تهران وحید آشوری. این مسابقه 3 راوند 5 دقیقه‌ای می باشه. داور مرکزی این مسابقه است
Najhand comes from a pure kickboxing background, and throughout the years he has incorporated wrestling into his style. He represents the Sultani Fight Academy, and Ashori, on the other hand, he represents the Persian Warriors. Did you catch Najhand's fight record?
Yes, Coach Iraj. He has a 2-1 record currently. So right now, he looks a little nervous. I don't know if you saw that. Maybe he's very serious about this fight because of his opponent. But he looks serious, as you mentioned before.
It could be both. Let's see. Let's see. Right after the first exchange, we'll see things. A lot of times when the fighters are nervous, as soon as the first exchange happens, then all their nerves is gone and it's fight time.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Najhand right now, the best he can do, there we go. He got into a clinch. I was going to say he's going to use his reach advantage. You know, he's put his Ashuri on his back right now, striking.
And it seems like Najhand is not wasting any time. As soon as he got on top, he started raining down the punches to the ribs of Ashuri.
Absolutely. It looks like Najhand is staying active from top position, striking to the body right now. And obviously, Ashuri is holding on, just making sure he doesn't get too much damage in the beginning of the round. Double overhooks right now to stop any strikes from Najhand.
Yeah, Ashuri's doing a great job from the bottom, neutralizing any attacks that Najhand may be able to create.
With his background, Coach Iraj, for Najhand, are you surprised it took him down, or does he have background in wrestling or jiu-jitsu also?
I'm very surprised. Usually, when I watch his fights, he's actually a very decorated kickboxer, Najhand is, and he tends to go back to his wrestling, and he uses his strength, which is, he has a very strong physique. But I would like to see Najhand more fighting on his feet.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he just feels safer from the top position, just controlling with the whole grappling right now. And as you mentioned, he's a strong guy, so I feel like he's using that as an advantage on his side right now.
And Najhand has proved that over and over to this day. He is one of the strongest guys in this weight class.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these guys look like phenomenal athletes that work hard. You can see that based on the way they're just, the way their body is and what they can do. Not only that, they have great cardio right now also.
And you could see that that Najhand is active on that one side, on the right side of Ashuri's ribs, and he keeps on making contact with that side, and there's some redness on the ribs of Ashuri as well that I could see.
Absolutely. And, Ashuri is trying to stop those strikes to the ground. But I'm not sure, what do you think should Ashuri do right now based on his positions? I know he's against the cage, stuck. Looks like he really can't use his hips either.
The thing is with Ashuri, he needs to, scoot his butt back, and he needs to put his back against the cage and keep that overhook that he has and get up on his feet.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like he's in a stalemate. He did have some strikes from the ground, from his back right now, trying to hit Najhand. And we'll see. Hopefully he can, scooch and use that hip to get some mobility and maybe take control of the position. But Najhand's doing well controlling him.
Maybe this is a very new experience for Ashuri. Maybe nobody was able to overpower him like that and put him on his back before.
I mean, you are right. He's an undefeated guy. I've not seen him fight before, but when you're undefeated, looks like he might have had some, good fights before, and he's struggling a little bit. He's facing some adversity, but this is what makes you a great athlete, Coach, right? You're a coach, so if you can overcome this adversity, then you can go far in this fight.
Now we are looking at the old Najhand.
There we
He's
go.
making faces and he's doing his showmanship. He's doing his showboating right now.
Yeah, I think he just gained that confidence. Like, listen, I know this guy was great and all, but I'm taking control. But we do see a guillotine, and he's squeezing really hard. What do you think is going on, Coach? He's having a good control right now.
He's got a good control, but with one arm, I don't think his other arm is connected, and Najhand does a good job of picking him up and slamming him. As a result, Ashuri lets go of the choke.
And that was a smart move by Ashuri, I believe. If he held on too long, maybe he couldn't do it, but if he had held too long, he would have been way too tired with that arm. And we've seen that previous MMA fights with Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor, where Dustin got tired from the guillotine from his back also.
Exactly. If you have a submission and it's not working, it's better to let go and go for a different submission or something else.
Absolutely. And I saw a little bit of a frustration in Ashuri's face right now, just looking up and just heavy breathing right now. I don't know if he's confused or what's going on.
I mean, I'll be, frustrated, confused myself, if I had a monster like Najhand on top and raining down punches to my elbows, and, he went probably for one of his strongest moves, which is the guillotine, and Najhand was not fazed by it.
Absolutely. And, Najhand, time by time, I think he's going to gain a lot of confidence if he's controlling like that. And I think it's a great game plan. It might not be the best show out there for all the fans, but for those who are technical like Coach Iraj, I'm sure you're getting a lot of knowledge just watching the way he's controlling it.
Yes, exactly. A lot of the fight fans, they like to see blood. They like to see guys stand up and just knock each other out. But for us, individuals who are like true hardcore fans of MMA. We like every aspect of the game.
Absolutely. And on the ground, there's not a lot of people that can make it entertaining unless you're obviously Habib who does things at another level. But there's some crazy guys on the ground that, absolutely puts on a show, but it might not be the best for the fans, but for technical people, it's a, match made in heaven. They love it.
Yes, it's a chess match out there, and these guys are just, trying to outsmart each other.
Absolutely.
On the ground, on the feet, and we are looking at the replay of Najhand going for Ashuri's ribs and Ashuri with that choke and Najhand and return slamming him.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Najhand is ready to go. He looks confident. I don't think he looks too nervous. But same with Ashoure. I don't think he looks nervous anymore. I think he's just thinking of what can I do? Should I stand up or should I go to the ground with him?
With Ashuri, the same with the all foreign fighters, he might be feeling a little suffocation. When you come to Afghanistan, Afghanistan is in a very high elevation. It's a very dry country. So if you're not used to training in high elevations and in dry climates, then this could present some trouble.
Coach, I can tell that by training with you the other day, even though our training was not too hard, I could feel it already, So I definitely understand what these fighters coming from other places are feeling right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the advantages that the Afghan fighters have, the training in this climate. These guys are, the climate is doing a lot of good for them.
That's awesome. Here we go. Second round. We are going to see how it goes. They're keeping their distance right now. I do like how they're just staying active right now. They're not flat-footed, and that's a good thing to have as a fighter.
And as you can see, Najhand, he has a regained confidence, and he's on his toes.
Yeah, he's moving around. He doesn't want to get stuck in the middle of a strike. And here we go, against the cage. A very convincing, easy takedown for him. I think it was a double low takedown.
Yes, it was, and Ashuri's got that choke. Let's see if he could finish that guillotine choke.
Yeah, this might be the second or third attempt that Ashoure had for this fight so far. But when you're in a position like that, if you have the neck, I guess you don't have a lot of option and you go for that. Because you really can't strike from your back too much either.
Exactly. When the neck is presented to you, it's basically a bait to go for. And I saw Najhand's arm, so he's got one arm in. That's actually a harder position to finish. And as we could see, that Ashoure gives up. And Najhand, he just keeps on putting his head and neck on the line. It seems like he's not very afraid of Ashuri's guillotine choke.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like he wants to keep his head low so he doesn't get any strikes from the ground. But also very confident in just going for that same position. I don't think he's afraid of that guillotine. But you never know. There's a fight game, Coach. Anything can happen, right?
Yes, exactly. And we are seeing the repeat of the first round, and Najhand is, keep on working on that right rib of Ashoure, and Ashuri's on the bottom against the cage. It seems like they did not make any, adjustments in this round.
Yeah, it looks like the same game plan for Najhand, which I'm not actually surprised, If I were him in a fight like that and I had a controlled position, it might not be the best show, as I said, but this is look, this guy is having fun doing it, Who doesn't love that?
But I would agree with you 100%. You got to go with what works, and at the end of the day, the W is what you are looking for. If it's a spectacular knockout, or if it's a win by decision, a win is a win.
Absolutely, Coach. What would your advice be for Ashoure right now if you were his coach? Because it looks like he might be close to his corner. I'm not sure what they're saying, but what would you say is a good option right now for Ashoure?
Well, for Ashoure, he has two choices. One, putting his back, scooting back and putting his back against the cage and coming up on his feet. Or he needs to move his head away from the cage and bring it to the center of the cage. And so from there, he's not really caught up. And now we are looking at Najhand. He's making a seemingly boring fight look very, very exciting with all his face gestures.
Absolutely. As we said in the beginning, there's never a dull moment with Mr. Najhand. Look at the way he's enjoying the fight. I mean, he's controlling. Even though Mr. Ashoure has the full guard, he's not really doing anything from it. Does it look like?
And the referee stands them back on their feet because that position. They were in that position for too long, and I guess there was a lack of activity.
What's your opinion on that, coach? By the way, I see that a lot happen. Is that a good thing to do that?
Yeah, I mean the thing is, they want to see activity at the same time. They got the fans in mind as well. The fans, they don't like two guys just laying down there. They want to see some actions.
Yeah, and look at this, coach. What's going on right now? He's got the hooks inside also, and a good control against Najhand.
That stoppage for that 1 second, them standing on their feet, worked out for Ashori, and Ashori has a better position now. He's got the back of Najhand, and it seems like Najhand is trying to slip from the back door.
Yeah, I think he should definitely slip out of here because he doesn't want to get hit too many times. But sometimes that's why when you stop a fight to get them standing up. I mean, it's a free fight. Let them fight, in my opinion, because you see this is the opposite of what was happening about 30 seconds ago.
Exactly, that's one of the problems controversial problems that happens. One fighter could be in control, and once the referee stands them up, and everything could change like it did. But now we see Najhand. He's got Ashori in a kind of a crucifix position, but Ashori does a great job of coming back to the full guard.
Yeah, and Ashoure that was a good movement with the hip. He went for that for the armbar, but Najhand, I think he was not fazed by it. He got out of it pretty easy. But it's good to see some ground movement and just being able to move around for Ashoure because he was staying pretty flat on his back the whole time, just like he is right now. You can't really do a lot from here.
Yeah, Najhand is one of those fighters. He's not very, very technical,
Yeah.
but he's a solid fighter.
And look at the way he's finishing this round, coach.
Was that a stoppage or the end of round two?
That was the end of round 2 based on the time.
So, Coach Amani, who do you think got this round?
I think Najhand is in a better control. Ashoure did show some sign of, that he can take over this fight at any moment after the ref stopped them to stand up. That was pretty good to see from Ashoure. But overall, I think Najhand is pretty confident in what he's doing right now.
Yeah, Ashori had his moments for sure, especially when he took the back of Najhand. But Najhand, for most parts, was in control. And we are looking at the replay of Najhand's showmanship right there.
That shows a lot of confidence for a young man like him. He's just having fun out there, getting that rib cage beaten up. And, with all the highlights, look at the ground pound at the end. Coach, now we have to realize Mr. Ashoure is down 2-0 in I believe it's a 3-round fight, right?
This is a 3-round fight.
He's down
yes.
2-0, and that could be a problem for Ashoure. He either needs a finish, submission. I'm not sure if he's going to get a 10-8 dominant round from Najhand. I don't think that's going to happen for him.
Yeah, I don't see the possibility of that, and Najhand is ahead 2 rounds. So Ashori, he needs to make it or break it this round.
What about Najhand? Do you think he should fight the way he is right now? Should he just lay back a little bit? What would you say as a coach?
I guess Najhand, he needs to keep his distance, and once Ashori goes for a takedown or whatnot, he needs to put him down on his back and hold that stalemate position, work the ribs like he did for the round 1 and 2.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. I think he still needs to be able to control the position. Sometimes people back up and they get caught in those moments, being comfortable, being ahead of the game,
Yes, you don't want to be too careful now because that could cost you. And he started strong, Najhand, with the opening front kick and followed with a mean roundhouse kick. And we are seeing Ashuri's on the side mount right now.
Yeah, there's some good grappling exchanges right now, but Ashoure looks like he wants to go to the ground, and it's actually not a bad position for Ashoure. He just needs to get Najhand's hands out of there, and he might have a good dominant side control.
It seems like Najhand is the one who's holding on to Ashoure.
Yeah, he might get tired with that hold. I'm not sure how he's feeling right now, but I don't want to be hold against Najhand, man. This guy's a strong monster. I feel like
and the referee had it. He gets them back on their feet because he felt like there was not enough action, which I think was a good decision on his part.
Yeah, it looks like it was just a stalemate position. Again, another stand-up time. We'll see how this fight goes from here. Najhand does keep his hands a little low, but so does Ashoure. I'm not sure if it's from the tiredness or their style.
Yeah, for Ashuri, I'm kind of surprised. For a Wushu guy, it seems like he's got some heavy, shoulders are feeling really heavy. I don't know if the wrestling actually got to him, where he's feeling heavy and he's not able to use his arms the way he should be able to.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Ashore, we have to realize he's a lot shorter. And when he went for that double leg takedown, he was little bit too far. I think he needs to stay closer, gain that distance. And obviously, you saw the reversal. Najhand is now in control because he couldn't get that takedown. And here we go. We got some ground and pound. Najhand's feeling confident here.
For Najhand, he needs to move towards the center, move his back, basically his bottom towards the center, so he could really pin Ashuri's head on the cage, and then he could really, rain down some punches, elbows with a lot of ease.
Absolutely. And listen, this is the second. There's 2 warnings that he got already, Ashore, for that holding his toes and foot inside the cage. That's the 3rd time that coach has been said, I would be careful. I mean, the ref said it. I'd be careful, Ashore. He might get a point deducted for doing that again and again. Of course, it's illegal, and the ref is right there watching him.
And Najhand is basically he's in his bread and butter position that he has been throughout the fight, and he's even more active because he knows this is the last round, and Najhand is known for his stamina.
Yeah, absolutely. For the way he's built, his stamina is pretty incredible, and I've seen that with a lot of Afghan fighters. They're built pretty crazy like mountain guys, but these guys have a stamina out of nowhere. A lot of time you see muscle, they get tired, even in the UFC, the highest level, but these guys are doing pretty amazing.
And the thing is, it gets back to the climate in Afghanistan. Afghanistan is at a very high elevation, and we are seeing Najhand with a lot of ground and pound. And the referee stoppage,
Wow.
Najhand is celebrating. What a exciting finish to this fight.
What a well-deserved fight for this young guy. Look how happy he is. He deserved it. He dominated all 3 fights. All three rounds he dominated. And he's going to be even more confident moving up to the next fights,
Exactly. This was a big hurdle in his fighting career. I think this was the first foreign fighter that he fought, which could be very scary for a lot of the fighters. And he passed this test with flying colors.
Absolutely. And he fought a guy undefeated with a crazy background and different, forms of martial arts from Iran.
Yes, definitely. It seems like Ashoure is happy that this is over.
Yeah, absolutely. Props to Najhand for an amazing fight. This is the kind of fighters we need for the future. And he did exactly what he needed to do, control all 3 rounds and get the finish.
Going to the ring for the announcement.
Our team will be going to the ring now for the announcement, but before that, you see some highlights. Look at some, it's a good start, the way he was doing it. Look at that takedown, a little too far, and what a reversal by Mr. Najhand.
And that was a good high fake, and he went for the takedown, Ashoure did, but Najhand read it, and actually that takedown did not work out for Ashoure.
And look at the way he's hiding his face there, Ashore. He knew he was done, It might not have been the craziest strikes, but Ashore was definitely done there.
داور مرکزی جمشید قیوموف این مسابقه را در راوند 3 در دقیقه 3 و در 13 ثانیه با پایان رساند و برنده این مسابقه را از طریق TKO واحدالله نژند.
And we saw that $100 bill in Najhand's mouth. I think one of the coaches had told him if he won this fight that they were going to give him $100. And $100 in Afghanistan, that's a lot of money.
That guy deserves it. He's confident. He definitely deserved that. And go spend that money the right way. Celebrate with your friends for sure.
All right, fight fans. So we gave you another exciting fight. Until next time.
We'll see you next time, Coach. Bye, Coach.